Hello and welcome to this session of Godbound. We are deep in it and now deep heading into the jungles for this session. Rich Rogers taught me a new trick of going over the wishes for the previous session at the start of the session, which I think is an interesting idea. Most of them are about, we want to go fight something and we want to go through a jungle. That's kind of what they boil down to for tonight. So, but it's a new technique. And I'm going to lay claim to it eventually. My name is Lowell, pronouns he, him, and I am the game master. And this session is part of the Gauntlet gaming calendar. You can find out more about that at gauntlet-rpg.com. Hey, all of our sessions have safety tools. All of our players know them. We have a layered set of them, but you may see us refer to them from time to time. I just want you to be aware of that if you're watching this, because if that alienates you, good. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. I think we're still, nobody advanced yet, right? You're still a ways away from the next level. So where we left off, the four of you plus your adjunct of sorts had gone through the gate here at the top of Dog Mountain, and the blind major domo has seen you off, and you begin heading on through this pass, and you'll move. Tyler, Ransom, you've had some sense of this. You've been flown over, but you will see that this is a high rise, and then there's a path that descends down into this mist-covered valley. It's pretty big, like it's substantial as you start to head down, and it is also pretty early in the morning here. Though I don't think any of you are particularly, at least two of you don't need to sleep or eat at all, if I recall correctly. Okay. So you will head down. So like, this is the first time you had a chance for the four of you to talk sort of by yourselves outside of potential surveillance and following the whole thing with the Queen and the promise that you gave regarding the blood seal and so on. This is, as the morning light is starting to come up, of course, Professor Vedro is starting to emerge. Tyler, what is Ransom saying here? You're kind of the leader of this expedition.
Well, we need to be careful, but well, I'm optimistic that as long as we keep our wits about us, we should make it through here pretty quickly. I'm a little worried about when we get there. Sounds like some very dangerous things behind these doors, and considering our friend we met, it could be that they are willing to tempt people. I'll look around at everyone.
Because
Vedra looks excited, I'm assuming, at that point. Yeah. What's a Vedra's reaction to the idea of being tempted?
Oh, I'm already kind of leaning over to Tassos and like, we're going through that door, right?
Well, of course, we can't go through that door because I made a promise, as did, of course, our dear captain and Threadless and your brother, binding all of us from being able to go through the door.
It sounds like something.
It's a shame.
It sounds like something Ordevi would do.
Yes, it does seem a shame that he promised and bound himself into this pledge.
That's what I thought.
So, Threadless, you were saying something as well.
I she stops when she hears them talking and she goes,
Murmur, murmur, murmur.
are they being quiet? I don't think they are. I think they think themselves very clever, so they're
The
speaking
stage
aloud.
Sotto
The most
voce.
annoying way of speaking of them all, right?
I am insulted at your accurate description.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, and she goes, well, why don't we take care of the doors we can go through first, and then we'll see if you, Professor Vedro, are up to going on and facing that last thing all by yourself.
It is very pragmatic. I agree that there's ample things to explore without succumbing to the forbidden door, which clearly must have something interesting and compelling behind it that would entice all of us.
So wildly compelling. It could be anything.
No, it'll mostly be blood, I think.
Yes, I think that's probably it. Yes.
So you will move down this mountainside, and very quickly the light is obscured because the jungles reach up onto the mountainside, and there is a path, but it's an old path and it's wildly overgrown, and you're forced to hack and walk your way through it to try and get down to the lowest levels. You're looking for animal paths, things like that can allow you to traverse, and miraculously you do find one, and when you're about halfway down the mountainside, and it's quite large. It's
How large?
like about 15, 16 feet across.
Ooh, what sort of creature is it that's been here?
It looks like it walks on four legs. It looks like it has claws. It gouges the earth as it walks. You can see that there are trees that are torn and knocked at. You'll probably find some scales from
Ooh,
on some of the.
what sort of scales? Anything useful? Some nature to them that I could take advantage of?
I think
Lovely, strong.
They're large scales and they're reddish brown.
Oh, you managed to make them sound pathetic.
You will follow this down, and you can see there are other tracks. There are clearly other beasts here in this valley. That track that you see seems to be the largest of the animal paths that you find, but it does seem like there are others. And the thing that will strike you is when you get down in here, the light from the sun is absolutely diffracted. Like it hits that mist and it kind of creates a glow, and that light's down here, but it's a very diffuse glow, and the mist kind of hangs at the top of those jungle trees. When you get to the bottom, you will find that there's a lot of water here. You'll find that the clearest areas are these tracks of water that run through, and then the jungle's kind of up about that, and split areas of stone, like mountains and hills and things kind of cracked up against it. Like, doesn't feel like natural erosion to any of you. It feels like something tore all this out of here at some point. Maybe there was a great battle here. Maybe something happened. Maybe the earth cracked asunder. It's unclear. But once you get down in here, there are definitely birds down in here. There are fish in the waters, and you're essentially having to now kind of move between sort of finding yourself on some dry land and some muddy spots, and then having to wade along in some water, and then back up again, kind of going forward. In the far distance, you can see the light kind of hits it weirdly. a silhouette of some kind of pyramid in the far distance across the valley. It's large enough that you can see it, but you know it is far away. So let me do a once around. I'm checking in with people. What is striking here for you, Ransom? What do we see you doing? How are you approaching this?
I will have gone ahead and committed an effort to bring up my beacon talent.
Okay. And everybody should have their effort back.
Okay.
Everybody should be all healed up and everything like that, just to make sure.
And since there are birds here, I'm going to kind of begin talking with them, asking what's around here, what passes along this track, that sort of thing.
They will say one of the two tyrants. One of the two tyrants.
Can you tell me what the tyrants look like?
They one walks and moves through and chews and burns where it wishes, and then goes back to its lair. The other soars across and destroys the land to seek its prey, and it lives in the windswept cliffs that we do not go to on the far side of the valley.
I see. It sounds very dangerous. So it flies. Is it a bird?
No.
Let's see. Well, my little friends, if you could stay near us, and if you see anything coming, give me a song, a word. Let me know.
All right.
And I will pass along to our companions. There are two predators of some sort, one on the ground, the other aerial. The birds here call them tyrants. The one on the ground apparently produces fire in some way.
From our tracks, do we see fire, or do we see like some kind of burning or something like that?
I do think once you look for it kind of up a ways, there are some spots where there are burn and scorch marks.
So it's fire, not chemical burn.
No, it's not. It's you look at it, you're an artificer, you know how fire interacts with wood.
Mm-hmm.
This is scorching, like the crackle of like a lightning strike, how it creates those black veins on wood and things.
Oh, okay. So more like lightning. All right.
Tassos, what do we see of you as you're walking along through these jungles and waters? The water doesn't bother you at all.
This is like a new land, a new landscape, a new biome, and this weird sort of contained valley. I think he's looking out, or they're looking out for like new creatures, new things that they could imitate, and everybody's afraid of something, and bringing in something new might give them something new to work with in the future.
I think you will definitely see birds you've never seen before. There's certainly fish here you've never seen. There are smaller reptiles in the thing. You'll see some reptiles that are probably the size of like a Labrador moving along in some packs that as soon as they kind of get a whiff of all of you, they fall back. You're not sure whether that's their natural fear or whether it's the enchantment that the queen lit on you. But yeah, you can pick up several nightmarish forms here.
I think there's a bit where like the trails that we're following are going along like a stream or river, and Tassos changes into a fish and goes sort of swimming and changing from form to form. and they definitely get interested in those like reptile things. Do they still like? Are they still shy and back off if I look like one of them?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Which indicates to you that it is definitely the queen's mark.
Hmm.
They will back away from you. There are also moments like you see there are fish here that are going in packs and they kind of swim at you guys and then stop and turn away.
Hmm.
And when you kind of chase after them, they kind of, run before you.
It's not
Not a
entirely bad. It's
yeah.
sort of an interesting.
Yeah. It's not a fear. It's kind of a repulsion for them. I think you can feel that difference in there.
Hmm. But yeah, they'll definitely like take some interest in feeling out the new forms and sort of moving around in them.
Okay. Professor Vedro, what about you? You're a big wilderness explorer here. Starts off cool early in the day, and very quickly it goes to humid.
Yes. I think I've committed effort and using illuminate that, which is mostly to kind of keep the mist away, allow us to kind of see things, but it also will highlight any kind of magic or magical things. And I'm actually keeping an eye out for not natural phenomena, but things created by people or by intelligences, maybe signs of ancient cultures, things like that. Just sort of wearing my archaeological hat. And for some reason, I think like this might be a really great place to set up a field office for the university. I'm just completely, I feel like I would be completely clueless about sort of the practical implications.
Yeah. So let me ask you there. You will see signs horribly broken and overrun ruins and things like that, bits and pieces here. This is old. Like, what's one thing that tells you that there was definitely some kind of war here?
Oh, I think I noticed even among the overgrowth that the nature of the ruins is they were done by war machines rather than just sort of natural crumbling. And maybe I catch glimpses of weaponry, broken weapons. And I feel like I'd be able to kind of distinguish between two different styles of weapons.
Yeah, I think on the one hand, you will see more sort of the shattered bits and pieces of something that looks like kind of maybe ceramic automatons or war suits and things. And then you'll see in other places overgrown. It's almost like you see the framework of something like a filigree of maybe it's metal. It's hard to tell. It's rusted and overgrown. And inside of those, you'll see skeletons, like they were inside of something like this weird wicker man kind of thing moving around. Threadless, what about you? What's your demeanor, your observation here?
Well, certainly the war machines have a passing interest to her if Evedro points them out, certainly. If she can kind of see what they were.
Let's have you. I think this is a gift you have. Do you have a gift to discern what a machine does?
Oh, what a fine question. It is. Oh goodness, I'm sorry. Our cat.
That cat.
Yeah. Fix anything. I can't say that I bought these specific. You can see.
Let me take a look at your Ba, 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 ba. Well, let's have you make a roll.
All right.
Let's do an intelligence check here.
Okay, so I gotta roll above it, or I gotta add an 8,
You have
beat an
to
8.
beat an 8.
Okay. And God dang, I thought I hit the roller, but I must have missed it. I apologize. Let me open that
It's
up.
okay.
It's very hard to do all this with one hand. So,
Almost being big baby.
oh, but man, is she. Okay, so I'm rolling a 1d20. And I rolled a 19, so I think I beat the 8.
So I think you'll realize that certainly some of the materials here, some of the things, the intent seems to be elemental protection
Mhm.
against elements, resistance, and things like that. Like maybe they were coming here to destroy this or seal this or whatever. And these things were destroyed.
So can I discern what the elements are they were trying to, I mean, clearly fire or electricity with the ceramic. So,
It seems to correspond to the elements that you don't know what blood wood resistance would look like, but certainly storm, ocean, and you can see that there's definitely some where the ceramics are, like the plants haven't grown around those, like defoliant.
okay. Huh. And let's see. Okay, so resistances are going to be important. Geez, I don't know what we're going to do about this whole lightning thing.
All right, Tyler, you are making the journey. You and your crew are making the journey along here, trying to find your way along the waterways, up onto more dry land, keeping an eye out for these animals. So we're going to montage this journey. So Tyler, what's an obstacle, a challenge that your group comes to? Either physical obstacle or magical or geographic or some other thing of interest here.
Okay. I think that we, as we're moving along, we begin to hear a kind of whirring, and what I'm imagining is one of these war machines that is not entirely defunct. We've encountered one that is still capable of some defenses.
Yeah, it kind of crackles out. You think that maybe the Queen's enchantment may have something, and it may be reacting to that magic in the air, or just your natural powers. You are of the ocean yourself. So there's certainly a resonance there. Tassos, how do you use your natural skills and abilities to deal with this obstacle?
I'm sorry, what is it again?
You can see we've kind of come to an area, let's say, as you kind of moved off from the water up onto this path, and you hear this whir, and you will see that, like, imagine there's a couple of trees that have fallen over, enormous trees, and you suddenly realize that there's a war machine caught up, like, on the brambles of the thing. It's broken, but whatever magics are in it are powering up to clearly strike at you and your group.
I think they would turn into one of these new creatures that we've run across in here, something that would be good at fast and good at climbing. Probably one of those like reptile things with little squishy toes.
Uh-huh.
To like climb up the tree fall and into the thing. This is a war machine. It's made to be driven by someone, so I'm assuming that there's like a cockpit or an inner chamber that I could squeeze and slime and worm my way into.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like necessarily there was a pilot in these ones, but you can get inside of it. And how do you use your abilities to stop it from what it's doing?
Yeah, if there's not like a control place, then I would go for something that looks like a power cord, a spine, somewhere between those meldings, and large sharp claws grow out of this weird reptile's little amphibian toes and start ripping it apart.
Yeah, you get up inside of it, and even as it's starting to kind of fire down magical energies down towards the rest of the group, and then you'll hear a ripping sound down there, and it stops firing, and I think you can see this lizard Tassos emerge with the full ceramic spine of this machine in its mouth.
Drop it and give a triumphant hiss to the sky.
And you continue on. It's getting on sort of midday at this point. This is where the high heat kind of starts to come in here. All of the humidity is around. Tassos, what's the next challenge or obstacle that you and your group face here? Either physical or magical or something.
I think as the day's heat comes fully down onto this level, there's something that looks like a large jet of like rock coming up out of the ground, that as we're getting closer to it starts like rumbling and buzzing, and it's actually a giant ancient built up nest of like bees or wasps, sort of like flying, awful, biting, stinging insect that come out in a giant swarm as they're waking up, and they find us like coming into their zone.
Yeah, they fly out. They're murder hornet size, the size of your fist, kind of thing. As they come out, start pouring out onto this thing. I think the first thing you realize is when sort of the rock that you've seen ahead, like it starts to shift, as you realize that it's things that are on it that are kind of coming to. Professor Vedro, how is it that you use your abilities to deal with this threat?
I really want to just reason with them, but I feel like that would not go well. I think I just step over to the rock and make it as hot as the sun, to burn these little things, these giant things, to a crisp.
I think that, like, Evedro, you're going to get stung. What is Evedra's reaction to getting stung, even as you do this? Like, you're definitely going to be able to burn these things out, but you'll get that sort of, like, a few of them get through and start poking.
Well, I mean, I feel like I'm gonna ask one of my companions to take notes as I call out and describe the excruciating pain, so that I can bring that back to Yashad, who is very interested in violence.
I will gladly take detailed notes on it, along with the truly life-changing smell that is coming up from this atrocity.
Yeah.
These things burn. And I think there's that moment when it kind of finally, like the last one, like it'll crack open this rock, and you'll see that there's a thing that's maybe 3 or 4 feet long that is clearly the queen of these things that has just been roasted
Yeah.
by there. And there's the smell of that and the smell of burnt honey. And it hurts, and you can describe the exquisite pain and the welts, and you can take some notes on their purplish hue. Dan, what's the next? Get on a little bit, another hour past that. What's the next challenge that you and your group face here?
I think the trail gets very small and narrow to the point where it's almost the plant life is really closing in on us. We don't really have this trail of the giant beast anymore, at least in this section, or at least we seem to have lost it. So it's we have to go single file. We have to sort of push our way through the plants here.
Rock and stone and tree and everything, that kind of wild growth that you can only get for a forest or a jungle that has been left completely untouched by any kind of control or man. The layers of built up debris on this. I mean, you can see the char where from time to time, lightning strike will burn it out and then it builds up again. Threadless, how do you navigate your crew through this challenge here?
Oh, I have a lot of different ways that I can do that. But I did get that side that cuts through cleanly as a gift. And I think that it makes sense, since I am a godling of fertility, that I extend its power with a miracle of fertility, but essentially of the thing that causes the plants to wither away. There's the big part of fertility is the anti-fertility. So to empower that slice, that scythe with that, and just walk through that, so that though I swing it through, it cuts a greater swath and it stays back for some time.
Like when it touches the plant itself dies, and then so you cut this swath through, leaving this path of deadfall behind you as you cut your way through until you can kind of reach a greater opening, and now you can see the pyramid. You can see that it is clearly there are 4 sides to it. You can see here like 2 of the sides. You can see that the coloration is slightly different on those, that there's different kinds of stairs. The stairs kind of go up, from what you can see, go to like landings near the apex, but like the landings don't connect up to one another. Like you can't walk from one landing to the other. They're very, very isolated from one another. And I think one of the 2 that's facing you is definitely that side of the pyramid is just overgrown. Whereas the other side that you see isn't. This side is just plants and overgrowth and so on going up. It's covered like this behind me. That just up that side. So Sherry, here on this last leg, as you're growing closer to this, what's the sort of last obstacle that you face before you kind of reach the base of this pyramid?
I think that it's the thing is that we're kind of, when we come out, we're sort of at a plateau. We look across and we can see the pyramid, and sort of as we go to close that distance, we're kind of coming down more of a slope, and then at the bottom there's a chasm, and it's not like it goes forever. Like you could hear like water down there, but it's like, it sounds like waves slooshing around, and it's very down deep, and it's like 40 feet across.
Ransom, how will you get past this obstacle here?
My friends, if you would care to do a bit of balancing, and I'm going to kind of move up to where some trees and rocks are, and I'm going to change into a giant squid and shoot across my tentacles to the other side, embedding in a tree on the opposite side, so that y'all can walk across my tentacles to get there. And then once everyone is across, I will boink and appear back where the tentacles are on the other side.
And I
Like
think
One Piece.
you all of you will walk across this.
And I think to make things easier, so there are fewer people and we can get across quicker, I will shapeshift into something small to ride on Avedra's shoulder. In fact, those murder hornets were a nice small, so I think I'll change into one of those and climb onto Avedra's shoulder and just spend the trip across the octopus, helpfully informing him of the terrible things that might happen to him if he happened to fall and die down this endless abyss.
Right. That sounds good. I'm just going to walk across. If you need any help, Professor Bedro, just say.
You'll get across, and you'll return back to your form, Ransom, and kind of gathering yourselves together. And Alicia kind of tugs on your sleeve, and she says, I thought you were going to turn us into birds and go across.
Well, well, I suppose I could have done that. But,
she says, is it something where you can't do the same trick twice?
Well, honestly, it would have taken a lot more effort to do that.
Oh, then turn into a giant squid?
Yes, surprisingly. Each one of you turning into a bird would have taxed me considerably.
I don't understand magic.
It's all right.
Okay. And you all will find yourselves at the base of this pyramid. There's water that runs around it. There's some ground down below. And you can see there's one side that is facing. You have mentioned that we got the two angled sides. I don't know how I do this like that. One side is overgrown. The other side is blackened. And then there are two more sides. And it's a significant walk around this to see the other side. So, Ransom, what do you want to do?
Professor, I believe that we were told that it is jungle, ocean, blood, and storm.
That's correct.
I'm guessing the blasted side, storm, the overgrown side, jungle. I personally, I have little fear of ocean. Which do we think we should take first?
Well, I think since you feel most confident in ocean, maybe we start there. I do remember the Queen saying something about that two of the doors have been cracked and one of the doors has been sealed. I assume blood has been sealed.
I believe so.
So
We know jungle is open because that was the seeds that were being carried.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And that would have been our fin back in La Sombra.
Yeah.
Would have
He
been
was affected by that. He didn't crack it open, but he was affected by it.
But we did get the impression he'd come here, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, we can at least take a look at Ocean. One will presume that it will have water in it. As long as you stay close to me, we should all be able to breathe and travel quite swiftly. If you move terribly far away from me, however, well,
Or get knocked terribly far away from you.
then hold your breath till I find you.
Sure. I guess Threadless, Tassos, do you have any concerns about starting with Ocean? Would you rather start with Jungle?
Jungle's here, but if you guys want to take a stroll first, I'm fine with it.
I've never drowned before, so that sounds interesting.
I will look up and kind of, $1 million man, do I see a door on the face that's closest to us there? If Jungle is there?
So we get the two sides. On the one side that you kind of look at, that is kind of blackened, you will actually see that the stone and the material there is very much intact. And you will see a massive set of doors there, what I mean is there's a big slab where a door ought to be. That is like a seal, and you will kind of make out the symbol of the one she told you not to go through.
Oh, the blasted one is.
And I think you'll realize as you kind of look, that's all dried blood.
Oh, I will inform everyone of that.
A good thing no one licked it.
Alicia goes, wait, is that something you would do?
Looks at Tassos.
Looks at Tassos. Wow.
The other one that you look at, the jungle one, you can see that like there's bits where there was one of these stones in the way that's busted out. You'll also see that there are like blooming flowers and fruit trees and things up there at the top, and clear marks of things going in and out of that.
Okay, I'll let everybody know that things are certainly the local fauna seems to be going back and forth in there. That may explain the more dangerous things that are lurking out in this jungle. Its effects may have altered them. Even if we don't choose to go into Ocean, I think it's not a bad idea to scout the perimeter around. Does that seem good for everyone? All right, and so let's try a Lola circuit.
Do a circuit around. You'll move, let's say, clockwise past the jungle, and like even down here on the ground near that the jungle face of the pyramid, the ground here is overgrown, but you'll again see those tracks of the big monster along the walkway along here, like a lot of it, like it clearly this is one of its places. But you will come around and you will see, as you kind of come and see this next side of the pyramid, and let's give directional things to this. Let's say the south face is jungle. Let's say the east face is blood. I'll write this down. Then as you come around to the westernmost face, you will see that the stairs going up are shattered. Like it's the whole side of that pyramid is kind of in ruins and rocks and broken pieces and things like that. And you can see that as with the jungle, there's no door. That door is shattered out. And it's pretty clear from the tracks that this big land monster comes and goes up there. Along what is it like? You can see where the rubble and stuff, where that's kind of moved, and that thing, it clearly goes up there. You don't know if it sleeps up there or if it just has a den up there or what.
If we think that it has lightning powers, Threadless, then that's probably Storm, right?
And then you'll kind of make your way around and finally get over to the northernmost side. And I think you will see there's just water, black water, running down the pyramid, running down the stairs, and it runs across the ground and falls and fills into the water that you've been walking in the whole time. There's something about it, like when it like hits the ground after the pyramid, Tyler, that you can tell that the water changes.
Like maybe from salt to fresh, or like it doesn't have that magicalness about it, or
Something clearly cleans it, changes it, because when you kind of look at that black water, it's the black depths of the ocean. It's the bad blood of the ocean. It's corrupted.
all right. Well, we've seen it all four sides, my friends. It would seem ocean has yet to be opened. If the other two are, it may actually be easier to try the opened doors first, though. A guardian for sure we can anticipate there in Storm. Might be better to face it early than later.
Same with the jungle.
I think that might be our other, but it seems to nest in the cliffs, so maybe it won't be present. That's our luck. So jungle or Storm?
We've had a lot of trees. Storm sounds different. Maybe we can learn something of this giant nightmare that walks the woods.
Is there anything we can do to protect ourselves from lightning?
Yes. Build cages of metal around us that we are not in contact with.
All right. That sounds complicated, but I have absolute faith in you, Threadless, to make such a thing.
That's right.
The problem, Threadless, is you would really need resources to be able to do that kind of thing.
Yes. So I will have to create some resources, right?
Do you have a gift for that?
There are, let's see here. I can do a miracle for that.
You can? Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
Let's do this. Let's take our first break here. We'll take 10, and when we come back, we'll talk with Threadless about planning how to deal with this situation. Sound good? Okay. So there's a massive set of steps going up to the heights, the apex of this pyramid. Everything is covered with plant life and roots and leaves and everything all over the place, and it is verdant and when you get over to the sort of the base of this, I mean, it feels very alive. Like there is that feeling of life to it, of energy from it, and certainly for you, Tassos, you've touched this feeling before. So, how do you want to proceed?
So are we doing jungle or storm? I thought Ransom
Oh.
wanted to do storm.
Sorry, I got mixed up.
I
So
was a little, all right.
sorry. There were two choices and I got it wrong. So tell me then, Threadless, you were going to make some cages for your friends? You're muted.
Yes, that would be the idea.
So how are you going to generate the materials?
So essentially what it is the trick to it is I have transmuter as a spell that is in my word book. So I can evoke that as a miracle.
Okay.
It requires it will turn a 10 by 10 by 10 foot cube of material into any other material that I define, provided that it isn't magical or singularly precious. I could do gold, and this isn't gold that I'm going for. I'm going for highly conductive, I don't know, whatever the best thing is.
You can certainly go over and find a section of deadfall there in the jungle.
Mhm.
And what does it look like?
Well, essentially what it is, I'm going to transmute it. So I actually want something that is sort of like uniform thickness vines or stuff like that, because I'm going to make mesh, essentially mesh cages
Okay.
that go around everyone. So, and then, I mean, I can take some of it and bind it to make the structure too. So, but that is what is going to be done. So I pretty much start with a bunch of vines and of a certain thin amount. And I put those into a great big bundle and then turn them into, I don't know, copper, whatever the best metal is.
Okay.
I would know that, or I should say.
So spend
She would know
effort
that.
for the day
Okay.
to do that. And then you have the gift to allow you to do this fairly quickly, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, like it would allow me to do it in a part of a round as opposed to take an entire round. So, to make one of these, but I'm going to weave them and then make the thing. So we'll say it's going to take me 10 minutes or something, right?
Yes. Yeah. Right now you're level 4. So your crafting efforts for the day count as the work of 400 laborers.
Oh, okay. Right. So that sounds good, I think.
So what is that like literally describe to me what we see on screen for this when you do this?
I think you have the sense of like, one, she makes the pile of brush kind of just turn into this silvery metal. And then she starts pulling it apart and it looks kind of leisurely. Like she does this, she picks it up and she shapes it. And then she picks up some of these other pieces and she sort of drapes them over. It's just that when she drapes them over, they're perfect. They're like in a perfect mesh. Does it make any sense?
Yeah.
And so it's just, it's like, and it's in that sort of way of like, the material just flows into the right size and shape and stiffness and all of those things. So it's very much more like she's putting together a kit that's at some point become pre-assembled or
So you're putting together these Faraday cages for your friends to wear as they go along and do their stuff.
Right.
Okay.
Damn you, Lowell, you busted my joke.
Oh.
I had a Threadless, you always amaze me. No matter how good the day, you always make a fairer day of it.
No, but it will be like essentially two half barrels, about each of their sizes. They can move, like they stay in contact with each other so they can like move as we're going up steps and stuff. Our shoes, on the other hand, are going to have to be highly non-reactive, and probably have a mesh that's loose that goes across the top, and then essentially a trailing wire behind us to ground it as much as it can. So
Out of curiosity, Threadless, how are we going to fight inside of the cages?
well, you're gonna have to do something that can go through the mesh.
I see.
She says,
I-
unconcerned, holding her bow.
Exactly. I should have no problem whatsoever.
So while Threadless is doing this, Professor Vedro, what are you doing?
I thought we were helping Threadless gather vines and stuff.
Once she's got the vines together, then it's her working and getting these things woven, which
Right.
puts you, idle hands for upwards of 10-15 minutes, which is
So
an
long.
eternity for you.
God, yes. What am I doing? I am really eager to go inside. So I think I don't know. I guess I'm just sort of like climbing up the steps a little bit, like a little kid would do, and being like, are they gonna get mad at me? And maybe continuing to examine the pyramid for some evidence of who or what put this thing here.
Let's have you make just an intelligence roll here. This is your strength, so I don't think there'll be any problem with this roll.
Intelligence roll. Yes.
Yeah.
I can do that. Requires me to bring up a roller. I rolled a 9.
So I think one of the things you do is you kind of are moving along here, kind of examining. You can see these tracks, these great big claw tracks. This thing is huge. This beast is huge. But you also see, there's clearly evidence of lightning strikes and things like that have happened along here in the past. And maybe, and this is old, like you would guess within the last year or two, there's like evidence of foot traffic, but not ordinary, like good. You would guess these people with foot traffic, maybe he's like 13, 14, 15 feet tall.
Giant foot traffic.
Yes, exactly.
Do these appear to be interspersed with the tracks of the beast? Do they appear to be related to the tracks of the beast?
I think for the most part, the tracks of the beast are over those tracks.
I see. So potentially consumed by the beast.
Potentially. What are you up to, Ransom? I know you're expecting me to go to Tassa so we could have some mayhem raised, but we'll start with you.
I think that while Threadless is working, I'm going to have lifted up and I don't know, got enough about how tall is the pyramid?
Let's see. It's probably 200 feet tall.
Ooh, well, that's quite impressive.
It's huge.
I think I'm going to go up then about 120 feet up just to kind of survey around us and do a bit of watching to make sure nothing's coming at us, and see what I see while she's working.
I think what you will see is the various birds around in the area. You look as far as you can down to the end of that valley where the windswept cliff is supposed to be. But again, you get that obscuring sort of magical mist here. But I think when you look like at that doorway, that enormous open doorway at the top on the storm side, there's definitely some breath coming out of there.
Mm. Okay. I'll flit back down and let everyone know that. And I'm gonna ask is it Loja? It's Loja, isn't it?
Yeah, Leja, Loja.
Loja. Leja,
Yes.
this is going to be very dangerous. I'm not going to insult you by suggesting that you sit it out, but
Oh no, I saw the tracks. I'm not a fool. I know exactly how easy it would be, and I've seen you fight, so I know. I'll just climb up that tree over there.
Are you sure that would you? There are several things I can do to make you somewhat safer. I could.
No, I will stay hidden and wait for you to give a signal for me to come up, or wait for you to come down.
Okay. Would you like to be a bird while you do it? No.
You can see her like there's this moment where she clearly thinks, okay, if you die, I don't want to be stuck a bird kind of thing. But she's like, I think I'd like to stay myself here for this.
It is worth noting that you would know for certain if I died, because you would no longer be a bird.
I'll just be a girl.
All right.
Or a giant squid.
Well, keep yourself careful. I'll let everybody know that we have breath up there, and that it is lurking just inside the doorway.
Tassos.
Hi.
What are you doing during this idle hands moment while these cages are being made?
Well, everybody's worried about the storm door and the jungle door because they're open and something's living in the storm door, and we don't want to disturb anything before we're ready, and we don't want to set off any powers. And that's understandable because those doors are standing wide open. So, they're just very dangerous. But the ocean door isn't even open. So
That's right.
It really couldn't hurt anything if I took a look over on that side. It would just gain us knowledge.
Want to head off by yourself and go up those stairs?
Yeah, make it sound so cavalier. I'm carefully dipping a hand down into the black water as it runs down the side and tasting it to make sure there's nothing horribly dangerous there. And then I am tactfully making my way up the side, investigating, scouting, helping.
Yes, I just need to check something here. Da, 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 da.
You're checking on how intelligent forethought boosts other players' actions, correct?
That is absolutely not what I'm doing.
Huh.
Can I please have you make a spirit save for me?
Oh. All right, I have one of those.
Yeah, you do.
It's a 12.
So you make it.
It's over my 11.
Yeah. So I think you'll taste a little bit of this water, and immediately your shape-shifting reflexes, your thing will just, and when you spit it out, you like just drank like a drop of it just to taste it. It's a fountain. It's a fountain of black salty water that comes spraying out of your mouth. And then you stop and you have to do it again. And only then do you kind of like catch yourself.
Oh, that was awful. I'm definitely remembering that. All right, so now we know not to drink it. See,
Yeah.
already learning. Helping.
Learning important details.
So as I make my way responsibly up the side, I'm making sure not to drink any more of it.
Sploosh, 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 sploosh. The water is running down. Have you ever walked on stone or things when there's a current coming down it? Yeah, that's the feeling you've got. But you are dexterous, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
fairly.
yeah.
But oh no.
Oh no. Can I have you make a dexterity
That's not
check
the one.
for me?
I was gonna say no. That's okay. Yes, dexterity.
Oh yeah.
Nothing.
You
19.
keep yourself together and you will clamber up 200 feet worth of stairs. This black water, the current gets harder and harder as you get towards the top, and you'll get up to that wide plaza landing. It's at the top, and then there's that enormous, and from the bottom it's hard to tell how big it is, but you'll realize that this door, where this rock is about 30 feet high and about 30 feet wide, and that black water is running out from the edges, from the space around the edges of it. What do you want to do?
There any markings or anything?
There is a sigil on it, just like there's a sigil on the blood side too. You suspect maybe it's a ward, maybe it's the marker of ocean. It feels to you like when you're looking around, like maybe there's not usually this much water coming out of this thing.
So like there's more water?
Like it's pouring out in sympathy to something else in the environment.
Oh. You know, if there's a lot of water rushing up the door, that might mean there's something moving behind it. If I got closer, I could hear better.
That you could. Threadless, you're done. See Professor Vedro's on the slope kind of looking at stuff, and you'll see Tassos has gone around and he's up by the ocean door. Ransom, you kind of finished up, and you'll see this.
And I'm like, well, do we want to prep anything for that monster that's up there sleeping?
I'm wondering if we should retrieve Tassos before he gets into trouble.
You let him leave?
I let him. Give me a moment, and I will fly over. Tassos, Tassos, my friend.
Do you fly and land, or do you?
I'll hover over.
Okay. I think as you get closer, Tassos, you see that water, the volume of it, the rate of it increases.
Oh, Ransom, I think something's going on. I think we arrived just in time. There's something moving behind this door.
Then I should probably, you should come down here. Let me, and I'll move in closer towards that.
If you could just come take a look at this sigil and see if it sparks anything within you.
And I think where Vidro, Threadless, as you see this going on, and like definitely you're now seeing like much more water is coming cascading down that side of the pyramid.
I'll tie the Faraday cages down. So when the inevitable flood comes through, we'll at least be able to find these afterwards. Spend another miracle on that.
Okay. And Evedro, when nobody's watching, you can just go up to the top of this storm thing.
I mean, they provided an ample distraction. I say to Threadless, should we help them? Or do you think they'll be okay?
I think it's too late already.
The help they needed was long ago.
I just dislike being turned into my mother. This is what I really dislike.
Maybe we should go up to the storm door. Just to, just because they got to go up to a door. So maybe it's only
It's very kind of you to take me through this conversationally, but I already know that we have to do that now.
And look,
she slings her bow on and starts stomping towards it.
we have extra cages now if those two get drowned. So
yes, I bet if we're double caged, we'll be twice as safe. Oh, we can cram one in the mouth of that monster.
I definitely start climbing up towards the storm door.
Okay. And Threadless, do you follow?
I actually left before he did.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm following her.
Okay. So, Ransom, what do you do?
Am I noticing that there's lots more water coming?
Yeah,
out?
like now you realize that the rate of the water coming off this, you're sensitive to water. The more and more of this water has come, the closer you've gotten to this door.
Tassos, I think you should come down before you're washed away. Do you need me to give you a lift?
No, I'm all right. I just wanted to make sure we could study this door before whatever is happening occludes it completely.
I mean, if necessary, we can. I feel like I could get us in, but Threadless has gotten her things done. We probably should go back to our friends. And I've now gotten to where I'm very close.
Oh, yeah. So this is sort of as Evedro and Threadless are getting up towards the top of their stairs with their cages. Tassos, you're kind of standing there. Ransom, you're coming closer. Two things happen simultaneously, almost simultaneously. One is that as you two are coming up on the side, I think that there will be a noise from up at the top, and you'll see this enormous head come out of that doorway. And you will see this thing kind of look and take a big sniff of the air. And let me get you a picture of this thing, if I may. Yes. And come on. Thank you, Windows. Do this. And where are you? Here you are. Of course, you're going to put it over here. Where? Let me show you what this thing looks like. That's what that looks like. And picture there's some crackling red lightning around its mouth. You can kind of just barely see that there.
Holy crap.
Meanwhile, Tassos, Ransom, where you're at, you get the top of that pyramid. I mean, remember I've described the mist being above, kind of hanging over. Top of the pyramid kind of maybe just starts to reach to that. You will see a segment of that mist detach itself and drop down towards Tassos. And it's red, and you can see this guardian force drop down towards Tassos as this blood mist comes down to murder you. So let's start with Threadless. You are muted.
Yeah, so I think she goes, oh, damn it. And she'll sort of kick the Faraday cage so that it's all connected up around her,
Okay.
and it's got the trailing thing, and then she'll draw her bow. So this is a big nasty thing, right?
This is a big thing, yes.
So I think that I'm just picking which of my things are going to be the best. All right. So I think the thing that makes sense is if I use the Seeking Flight. So end of the scene, I choose him. My range attack, seek them out regardless of range, treat them as AC 9 and completely ignore cover, provided there's at least some path for my arrow to reach them. And I guess I will draw and attempt to hit it.
AC 9. Go ahead and roll.
Okay. Oh, I didn't roll my saved roll, so I wanted to do that.
Let's have you do that
declare
first.
that. So I have a 15 as a saved roll.
Okay.
Write that down. And then I add their AC and my attack.
Yeah, add your base attack bonus
So
and
4
their
plus
AC
9.
to your roll.
Okay, so I'm rolling. I rolled a 5. Not enough. I managed to not roll well enough, so I'll use my 15 for it.
Okay, so that will hit. So go ahead and roll your damage. What's your damage die with that?
I think it said a 1d10. Eventually, I'll have it where it hits the full 10. It just takes a couple of rounds to get all of the things.
So
up.
it's a 1d10, and you get to add your dex bonus and roll for the damage.
Okay. 10. My dex bonus is
3, isn't it?
3. Okay. All right, so I'm rolling that and adding 3. So 8 points.
So you rolled a 6, so 2 points. You may reread it on the chart.
I
Or
thought you
you
added them and then you did the chart, or no?
Yep.
I'm completely
So
confused.
you rolled a 3,
right?
plus 3
Oh,
is 6, and so it's 2 points.
sorry, I was looking at my other roll.
That's
Done.
okay. Professor Avedro, see this thing come out? You've never seen anything like it? Fascinating.
I guess I'm realizing Threadless was shooting first and asking questions later. I would really like to ask questions now.
Sure. What question do you want to ask?
Well, I'm just thinking I would like to, but also realize I probably shouldn't. Actually, what I will do, hang on. There's lots I can do. I think I've got a. It's probably going to come and get us. No, I'm going to hang on, disclose the flaw, and it's instant.
Okay.
So I can do something else. I choose a target, creature, or institution, know its weaknesses and most vulnerable elements.
This thing is really big, which means that there are some places it can't go. You can also tell by looking at it that the tail on it can't really reach up to its back, and its head can't turn all the way around. So getting on its back is a safer spot than most, though it might try and like roll over on you. But that is a place that is a relatively safe position to get to.
Well, yeah, but I wanted to stay as far away from it as I could. I'm going to use this universal gift called Corona of Fury.
Okay.
Which basically says I hurl a torrent of my words energy at a group of foes. I assume that I can just send it at one, and affecting all within a 30-foot radius. Each victim takes a D8 of damage for every 2 levels I have.
Okay. So let's have you roll your to hit.
Oops.
AC is 2.
This is not going to go well. My base attack bonus is. I rolled a 1.
So it doesn't, there's no fumble in this, but oh, Sherry, did you want to spend a miracle here? You should unmute yourself if you're going to.
Sorry. I guess I can commit effort for the scene and let him re-roll.
Okay. Mark the effort off. Professor Vedra, you may re-roll.
Wow, Sherry, thank you.
Sure.
I don't think I did much better. I rolled a 9.
That is not enough.
No.
It will crackle around this thing, and between that hit that actually landed it and this corona of bright lights, it turns its head and focuses on you. Let me have the others go, and then we'll have the monsters go. Tassos, you're closest to this blood mist drinker.
Hey, hi.
Hey, what's up?
So it's like a red fog coming down?
Yeah.
About the best I can see?
Yeah.
Well, if I didn't have any bones and had a liquid body and was, not normally, I'm always safe that way, so I'm definitely going to do that.
Okay.
So that takes my action to
Oh, it
change
does?
over to the liquid form. So I'll also look intimidating at it. The cloud, mist, blood thing.
Okay. Let me go on to Ransom then.
Okay, cool.
Ransom, you will see this beast that you can tell is some sort of guardian beast for this thing. It is made up of ocean and blood, and it is descending down.
Made up of ocean and blood, so
some kind of elemental construct.
Kind of coming off that. All right. And I'll see it going after Tassos, and
dropping down. Yeah.
I am very worried about him. And despite everything, I worry he's not as tough as he thinks he is. He gets himself in terrible trouble, and a good captain should try to save his crewmates.
Absolutely.
So I'm going to do a couple of miracles.
Oh,
I'm going to spend 2 effort.
commit that for the day.
Yep. And I am going to first off invoke from birds,
Okay.
Prince of the Air. So any flying or airborne creature, and I'm guessing this mist is airborne,
Absolutely.
is subject to the Godbound's wrath, and I am wrathful. So all of my attacks against such a foe are at maximum damage.
Okay.
And it lasts 1 round when I invoke it as a miracle. So it's only this moment.
Okay.
And then I'm going to smite it,
Okay.
which I'm going to use sea, since you say it has the feel of the ocean, as I reached out, kind of yelling with this screech, to try and disrupt the waters within it.
Absolutely.
So it says on a single target, the word can inflict 1d8 of damage per level or 2 hit dice of the user. Those are 2 different things, aren't they?
Hit dice of the user would be if you're a monster. That's for the monsters that use
Ooh.
that.
Gotcha.
You are level.
I'm level 4, so I do 32 points of damage.
No, it's a D8. You rolled that many D8s.
Yes, but I do maximum damage against anything that's flying.
Right. So you'll do how many hits are you doing with the smite? 3 or 4?
Let's see, I'm level 4. So
Level 4.
Okay.
So you do it twice, right? Or is it per level?
On a single target, the word can inflict a D8 die of damage per level.
Okay. So you do 48, and you have a bonus on it. So we would use your dex bonus for this. So you would get a 10. And when we read that on the chart, then we do 4 points, 4 points, 4 points, and 4 points. So you do 6
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's not a combined, which is good, because 32 would have just maxed it out, and I'd have only got whatever the max was of damage.
Yeah. So yeah, that's it's a set of hits is what it does, but they're still red on the chart, but you get to do a bunch of them.
Okay.
Which is really nice.
So I think we see me kind of motion like this, and I'm trying to rip it apart, the C parts of it.
And it definitely tears into it like a significant amount of this thing. It tears its fabric into it, but it still keeps coming.
Yikes, as I yelled to Tassos, get out of its way.
Evedro, Threadless, this thing roars and comes running down the slope at the 2 of you. And it's not firing lightning, it's just going to smash into you to send you flying backwards. What is your AC, Evedro?
Well, I'm committing effort. And so now I've got, what is this called? A body of burning light.
Okay.
My brilliance makes me impossible to target. So I have an AC of 3.
AC 3. So I roll this plus 13. Oh, where is it? There. So that will hit. And damage is this. Oh, sorry, it's this. Let me turn this off. You will take 7 points of damage as this titanic beast smashes into you. Threadless, what is your AC?
So 3.
So that will hit you as well.
Really? Okay. Did you roll a d20 or
Yep.
20? Oh,
Yep.
D20? Okay. Yep, that'll hit me.
and you will take 6 points of damage as the two of you are knocked back down the steps of this pyramid. Tassos, you are, I believe, invulnerable to physical attack here.
To non-magical.
To non-magical. All right then. What's your AC?
I was afraid. But both of them first thingy 8.
8. Okay. Well, I rolled another 20. So I need to roll. You are going to take +2 is that. So that's 2, 4. You're going to take 6 points of damage.
Yeah.
Ransom, what is your AC?
My AC is a 3. Is
And
it the
that
blood
looks-
mist coming at me?
Yep, this is it swacking at you.
Urgh.
And two, 4, 6, 8 points of damage
Yikes.
as it explodes out with its own smite on that round, striking at you. Just it hits you, and it's just that it's very essence, like you feel part of your soul kind of ripped away, your vital essence. Like blood is not literally blood, it is essence, it is soul stuff, and it smacks into that that's in you. Threadless.
Yes.
Escalation die is a 1. Add +1 to all your to hit rolls.
Okay. And let's see here. I think that I am using well, wait. So now I'm using the Bolt of Invincible skill.
Okay.
So I'm committing to the end of the scene 1, and it will do maximum damage and hit on anything other than a natural roll of 1.
Okay.
So let's see if I get that one. I did not. I got a fine roll of 16, so it does the 10, I suppose.
So you will do 4 points of damage. Where do you think you hit it to have it like sink in and do that much damage to this thing?
It has that hump on its back, and I
Okay.
think that there's yeah, it just kind of goes in there, which is probably like where a lot of its lightning power kind of stuff is sitting.
Yeah, it roars out as that goes in deep into there. Just a feather on your arrow sticking out.
Mhm.
Professor Vedro.
Is this a divine creature? Like, does it have gifts?
Yes, it does have gifts.
I've got Purity of Brilliant Law. It's an instant. I can
Okay.
effort for the scene, and I offensively dispel another gift for a round as if with a miracle.
So let me see what his tactic is this round. I think when you do that, you can see like as soon as that arrow goes into him, like that flame and that fire and that lightning starts to like cascade across him, and he starts heating up. Like is about to heat up like he's going to be a red hot iron dinosaur smashing into you. And when you do that, like you dissipate all of that heat, that and you blow that out.
That was an instant. So
Yeah.
I'd also like to punch him.
Okay. Tell me what you're punching this Devil Joe beast looks like.
Yeah,
Oh, I'm sorry.
because you're going to do a God punch.
It's a God punch. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm a master of several forms of unarmed combat, which I've studied extensively in my travels around the
Hey.
world. I believe I will call this, I assume, the sunset stance, and do a blazing strike.
Okay.
On that. And it is very elaborate. And I'm sort of picturing at least one of my companions rolling their eyes a little bit at me. But you know what? When it works, it works. And I rolled an 18.
That will hit. And damage with that?
Oh yeah, that's a good question. This is part of the body of burning light. I do a D10.
D10, and you add your dexterity bonus because it's magical.
I rolled a 10.
So
But my
like
dex is
we
1, so 11.
we see you step up, and like how does that blow land on this thing?
I think I'm following up on the arrow. So my stance kind of allows me to kind of leap over and just give it a smack right in the hump where the arrow landed.
And it roars, and I imagine it actually kind of probably staggers back from that, and like it's the heat has gone off on it. It's got this arrow, and this dude just punched it in the hump, and it's roaring out like it doesn't understand what's going on at all. Tassos, what are you doing?
But not dead.
Not dead. Oh no. Blood Mist, you can see that Ransom's attack on it ravaged it, but it is still up.
Yeah, I think as it connected with Tassos in their like liquid fluid body, their body like stretched along with it, and now they're sort of flowing back on like over and in it, as spikes and fangs and claws just sort of sprout all over their body and slash through it as they move along it.
Absolutely.
10,000 skins commit effort to do it as an
Nice.
on turn, so I can change out of this liquid form and do damage.
Roll.
So yeah, there's this big red and sort of murky water construct elemental thing. So Tassos is like this black sort of oil streak that's going along the sides of it as spikes pop out and splash and go back in.
Let's have you roll.
Oh no, just one of you guys. A 1.
That is a 1. So you're tangled up with this thing. You're trying to get that grip on it. You're both that liquid and mist and air, and I think we see that like that swirl, almost a yin yang of the colors of the thing roiling around on top of this, kind of wrestling with one another. Two formless monsters, effectively. Ransom, what do you do when you see this?
When it struck me and I felt that sort of soul draining feel, did that seem like it was using some sort of power on me?
Yeah, it definitely that's a gift. Yeah.
Then I'm guessing it probably helped it heal. That's just a guess, but I'm gonna find out, because I think a little similar to how Tassos is invading with the darkness. I think we're going to see, as the tendril hits me and as it's withdrawing, we see water flowing back up and around it. And I'm going to use my brand new greater gift.
Okay.
I'm going to do the stolen crown. I'm going to try and steal that divine gift. If
And
I'm
is there
assuming
a
it's worthy. Yeah, it has a
yes.
spirit save.
spirit save? So I will roll 1d20 for it for the spirit save.
Come on.
It will save.
Damn it.
But you can feel that, like when you grabbed onto it, what you were grabbing onto was that draining power, and even as you did that, it kind of became more physical.
Mm.
It has two modes, and you were kind of drawing away from that on it. But you and Tassos are locked up with this thing. It is still badly damaged. Threadless. Escalation die is a 2. Oh wait, I should have it go. Should the bad guys go, shouldn't I? Sorry.
Ours
What
was far too confused to do anything. He
Tassos,
just got punched by a
Tassos, what's your AC?
It's still a terrible 8.
So that will hit you. And that is that. Get rid of those. For 7 points of damage.
Ooh.
And
as an instant action, as it's like reaching out with its blood and its power again, that blackness just like sucks up some of the red as it blackens and joins into it. And I'm gonna instant action shape-shifting heal myself for 4.
that's smart. Ransom, what is your AC?
3.
And it will try and whip at you with this tentacle, and it will miss, Ransom.
Ha ha ha.
And it clearly had to subvert to physical on this round. Threadless. This thing steps back, and you see it growl, and you will see the scales start to, like, more of them start to emerge. Like it puffs up, and you see it concentrate, and you see its armor getting thicker.
Okay, so that's what it's doing for this round?
It's just using, I rolled on the creature behavior table, and it's using its defensive gift.
Okay, and so it would like be a damage reduction
Yes.
gift. Okay. Not much I can do about that.
Threadless, it is your action.
All right,
Escalation die is a 2.
I will hit it again. As long as I don't roll a 1, it will hit. Do not roll a 1.
So that hits, and is this still the thing we do max damage?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so is that, so this does that. And Professor Avedro,
Does it do less damage than it did before?
yes, it does.
How much less?
Halved it.
Okay. All right, I say it's half the damage, so this is gonna take all day long. I mean, it'll take a little bit longer now.
Avedro, escalation die is a 2.
I imagine I will punch again. Let me just see. Let me. No, that takes an action. Yes, I will punch it.
Okay, let's have you roll to hit.
Rolled an 8.
AC is a 3. Plus another 2, so it's effectively a 5. Plus what's your base attack bonus?
I think it's 4.
So that's 9 plus 8, so that's a 17. So that will not hit. you kind of move up again, and the thing is definitely gotten to a defensive stance and moves perhaps a little more agilely than you would have expected for a beast its size.
Right. And I start explaining to Threadless how I had not really practiced this particular form quite as much. And that I felt like I just was not able to really mimic the movements of the monks.
Tell it to your shot.
Tassos, on your side of the mountain.
Hey, hi. Yeah, I mean, we're still in good visual interest
Yeah.
territory, so swarming and spiking and stabbing and distracting.
Let's have you roll to hit. Oh, yes.
Nice. So these guys, not you. That I rolled an 8 on damage.
8 on damage. So you will cut into it with that strike there.
And
you
it's
can
magical if
yeah.
that helps.
Yeah, you definitely get a grip on this thing like you didn't have before, kind of finding where it has form and substance and starting to tear into that. Ransom.
I'm not sure exactly of where Battlefield is, but I'm
imagine you're on kind of on a plaza that's at the top of this pyramid step, doors there, and it's pretty big. So you're kind of,
and I'm hovering a little above, but
yeah, there's water pouring out from this door.
I'm going to try and move up above this mist about 50 feet.
Okay.
Can I do that in a move? And
absolutely, 100%.
Okay.
You're up there.
And plunge straight down into it. On my body, razor sharp feathers appear as I just come in twirling around like a whirlwind through it.
Okay.
Since I have talons and beak, I will automatically hit since
Perfect.
I'm diving from 50 feet or above. And I get to roll twice for the damage, taking the best.
Okay.
And I'm rolling 9s. Both
9s. With the bonus 10, so 4 points.
Woo-hoo.
Tell me what it looks like when you blow this thing apart.
I think that as I'm whirling in and the feathers are kind of slicing and disrupting this mist, I think we see it just kind of blasted with the wind of it apart and sort of begin to fade and then begin dropping down as a blood red rain.
Falls down there onto the ground. This mist, you can tell it'll reform, but it's going to take a day to reform. It's an extension of the mist in the sky. It's a part of that magic, but it will be another day before it can come back to any kind of semblance of force here.
So you're all right.
Oh, is it done?
I think so.
I feel fine. You all right? You look bloody. Do you usually have that much blood on you?
Some of it's mine.
It's good. It's giving you an atmospheric look, especially with the dark water. It's sort of working for you.
Back over on the other side, this beast sets itself up and it will sweep the tail at you. It kind of pulls its tail back and then it whips it around at you. Your AC, Evedro?
Is 3.
Is 3. That will miss you. Threadless, what is your AC?
It also is 3.
That will hit you, though.
You've hit me each time. Just say what.
By the way, I'm very much used to this.
Sir.
Yeah, go ahead, Lowell. Just hit me. 4 + 2. You're going to take 2 points of damage, but that tail hits you, it sends you flying back off this pyramid, and you will crash into the tree line down below. And Evedro, you are alone up with this thing.
Still trying to explain to Threadless how well Western Starform works in defensive mode, but clearly they were not interested. I think I'm going to punch it again.
Okay. Roll to
Okay.
hit.
Almost out of effort, so I don't.
That's not good.
Oh, shucks. I rolled a 4.
Kind of reach up, smack at this thing, and like you don't quite land the blood. I mean, with your star form, you're still potent, so I imagine you are shattering rocks even as you miss there,
Right.
or putting cracks into the ground.
Yeah.
It's our freight damage, doesn't it? Would only hit minions, right?
Right,
So,
right. Threadless.
Yeah, so being knocked down on the ground is really to my advantage. It's gonna be harder for it to hit me next round. So I, on the other hand, I don't think I suffer any particular thing since I have a ranged weapon that can go as far as I want it to and is seeking currently. So can I see it?
Yeah, escalation die is a 3.
All right. Going to roll. If I don't roll a 1, I will hit it for maximum damage. I roll a 4, so I hit for maximum damage.
Where does it hit it that drops it?
I think it's just after Professor Vedro has essentially gone after it, and it's sort of like kicked its head back and opened its mouth, and the arrow just goes right down its gullet and sort of travels the whole way through.
Punctures the lung, goes right into the heart of this thing. And there's a
And then it hits that sack of lightning behind it, and then and
it's crackling with red lightning, even as it goes tumbling down the side of this pyramid. Ransom, you hear, it's coming. It's coming. It's coming. It's coming. It's coming. Coming. Bird calls all around you. Coming. Coming. It's coming.
Tassos, it would seem we have an approaching enemy. We should get to our friends. And I'm going to reach down. Take my hand. I'll deliver us there.
You can grab onto Tassos and start moving away. And when you move away from this, the water pressure drops on that, but you can see this big flying beast coming this way. It has like a glossy bulbous head on it with like coppery looking to it, and maybe there's some claws and a big long tail, and it is swooping across the top of the jungle and coming this way. Let's take 5, and then we'll continue on. So Ransom, you grab Tassos, and it's a hop, run, skip, leap around that corner to get over to the platform where Evedro is. Threadless is down at the bottom of the steps, and you will see. I'm going to screen share again. If I can figure out that, it's a big green button. It looks like this.
No, lol.
And it is swooping in.
Is he gonna drop bombs on us?
Escalation die is a 4. Threadless. I'm going to start with you. You can hear the sound of it. You see birds are flying in different directions to get away from this thing. It is come swooping in from that end of the valley. If you are saying something,
I'm spending effort to make sure that I can treat it as AC 9 for the rest of the battle.
okay?
All right.
AC 1, right? Or you treat them as AC 9.
Treat them as AC 9.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. I believe that's an
So-
instant.
Yes, though it cost my effort to the end of the scene. So that is it for my effort.
And
Okay.
then
And then I'm going to attempt to strike it with my arrow, which still has the nice range and everything. So
AC 9.
all right, so it's 9 plus the escalation dice plus my attack base, correct?
That's correct.
And my attack base is, just to make sure, 4. So that's 7. 1d20 plus 9 plus 7, that's 16. I could do, so 7 plus 17, that hits.
Yep, that will
24?
hit.
Okay, so then I have to roll a 1d10.
Plus your dexterity bonus.
That's a 13.
So you will deep penetrating wound for 4 points into this thing as it's coming. Professor Vedro, you see this thing coming in. You can tell in just a moment it's going to darken the skies over where you're at.
Does nobody just want to talk anymore? It's all claws and breath and mist. And I am going to use disclose the flaw.
Absolutely. And I think you'll see this in your mind's eye. You'll see what's about to happen is it's going to swoop over and it's going to drop 50, 60 pods on you. They're going to land. And then it's going to turn around and swoop back, and those are going to explode.
Well, that's unacceptable.
So you need to get away from the pods. You need to keep the pods from coming around you, or you need to keep it from doing that swoop back to activate the pods.
I am.
The other weakness it has is that it is an air creature, and that is Ransom's domain.
I think I communicate the pod concern to my friends.
Yep, they're right there with you. Yeah, you can absolutely.
I'm like, pods incoming. They will explode. And I don't have any means for protecting us or deflecting the pods. But I think what I want to do is try and time a Corona of Fury to sort of direct this blast as the pods are being released,
Oh, okay.
to try and detonate them before they hit the ground.
Absolutely. Let's have you make that roll. Let's call the pods. If you're attacking the pods, let's call their AC. Let's call that AC 8 for them.
Okay.
Plus escalation dice of 4. So roll with a 12 plus whatever your base attack bonus is.
I rolled a 4.
Plus 12 is 16. What's your base attack bonus?
Another 4.
So that'll just make it. Corona does 1d.
Oh yeah, sorry. It gives me D8 for every 2 levels.
Okay. So why don't you roll me 2d8 plus your dex bonus on each of those?
I rolled an 8 and a 5, and my dex is a 1, so that would be a 9 and a 6.
So 2 and 2. So you will fire that off as this thing is coming over, and the sort of first wave of this first part of its drop is detonated in midair by your corona. Just and we're going to say takes out about half of the bombs. Okay. Just explodes in the air. Ransom.
All right, so we still have potential of more bombs, right?
Yes.
Then I've let Tessos off there with everyone as I'm lifting up, and in a high-pitched sort of screechy birdie noise, you all hear me do that. But as I expound out, I am speaking in bird. My friends, I am here with you, and we are going to end this threat you have been afraid of for so long. Come, help me. Come, join with me. We shall defeat it. And I call these birds in and direct them to, if it releases bombs, to shove them away from us. Don't try to, detonate them or anything. Just pushing them from our direction.
Interesting. Let's have you make a roll for that. I want to see. Let's use this for efficacy here.
All right. Is it like a
D20? And
like
let's
a
add.
charisma?
Yeah, let's do charisma plus the escalation die.
Okay, cool. Then I'm rolling a D20. 12, 13, 17.
Okay, so 85% of those next bombs that would come down are gone. These flocks come in. There's just a handful of them that kind of pepper the ground around you.
And part of me flying up is to try and attract its attention to me in hopes that it'll come after me and give our people on the ground the chance to go at it while it chases me.
We'll see. I'll roll for its behavior at the end of the round.
Yeah.
Tassos. You are surprisingly muted.
So it's coming down in a swoop over us as it's dropping.
This is first pass, but nearly all of the bombs that it's dropping here on the first pass have been dealt with.
Which is nice, means I don't have to worry about that, so I can just worry about making this thing's day terrible. So I think Tassos is still sort of covered with that blood ash mist that had rained down. And so they bring an arm up to their mouth and just lick along it with this big, like, extended tongue as their body starts to bubble and morph and expand and turn clear and red, and I want to turn into a giant blood water elemental thing.
Okay, absolutely. Is that a free action?
Yes. Let's see. So that's 1. 2 to actually use it because this is a big ass thing. And then did it have some sort of defensive power?
No, it didn't.
Okay. Did it have some sort of offensive power?
Absolutely. The essentially the soul sucking jerk power there that it was using at you first.
Nice. I like it. So I'll pick up that as well. So that's 3 effort.
Okay.
And as the dragon is coming down to the lowest point in its pass, just like several tendrils shoot up from this mast to wrap around its legs and pull me up with it.
All right. Yeah. So you can do that. Do you still get an attack action or?
It depends on if that like grabbing it and pulling up to it was an action or not?
I think that's a free action. You've extended yourself.
Just my natural form of movement here as a giant blood ocean slime.
Yeah.
Then yeah, as I'm climbing up to its back, that seems like the best place to just like rip its soul up through its spine and ribcage if I can.
Let's have you make that attack roll.
All right.
Escalation die is a 4.
It's a melee thing. No, not a D10, a D20. That would be unfortunate. That's
Look
a
at
20.
you. Roll me 4d8.
Ow.
And what's your
1, a 2, a 3, and an 8.
what is your dexterity bonus?
-1.
Okay, so that's
A 0, 1,
0,
a 2, and a 7.
0, 1, and 2. So 3 points of damage. So you're trying to tear into this thing, but the power of this thing is so like different than what you're used to that you're having a hard time yanking it out. You can tell you're not going to be able to use it on the following round.
Oh, it's like a smite type thing?
It is, yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. So it goes. It does the bomb drop, but only a handful kind of fall there by Professor Evedro. Threadless is down on the ground. You realize, Professor, that you're the only one there with the bombs. It turns around. But Tassos, you will hear the sound as it wicks this tail up at you on its back. Your AC is a 3.
That's an 8.
An 8. That will hit. So that is D10. So it's going to do 3 points of damage to you. Essentially, it kind of cracks across you and kind of some kinetic blast, but your form kind of dissipates part of it.
That's right, it does.
Threadless, it's turning back around. Tassos, as a blood mist, is on the back of it. Ransom's in the air with the flock of seagulls. Avedra's down on the ground by the corona and the bombs. What do you do?
Well, certainly Tassos can fly or something because he's a shape changer, so I don't really need to worry about him. So I guess I'll take another wing at this thing. Are we on escalation die 5?
Escalation die 5.
Okay, so I'm rolling and adding 8, and it has an AC of 9 for me. So rolling and adding 7. 9 plus 8 is 17.
That will hit.
Okay, so then I roll 1d10 plus 3. I rolled an 11.
4. So this thing has taken a pounding here. Professor Evedro, it's swooping back down. Dun 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 dun.
I think I will use my last effort for another Corona of Fury.
Okay.
I guess it does have more bombs to drop, right?
Yeah, but it's doing the exploding pass. It's clearly got like a pattern that it uses, and even though the bombs haven't really fallen, there's still some there, so it's coming back for that pass.
Okay.
Like this is it does the high pass, and this is the low pass back down.
Where it will or will not drop.
It will not drop more bombs. It has to get
Okay.
back up high to come back and drop the bomb.
Okay. So I will just Corona of Fury to hit it.
Okay. Escalation die is a 5.
So I rolled an 8.
Okay. plus 5, plus its AC is a 5, plus what's your base attack bonus?
4.
That will hit.
Yeah. So because of Corona Fury, I get to roll 2d8. I rolled a 3 and a 2. My dex is a mere 1.
So that's a
So
4 and a
a
2. So
4
that's
and
so
yeah,
that's 2
4.
more points of damage. Kind of light it up as it does that. It's going to blow those bombs up by you on your action, but you've reduced the possibility down to a simple smite of 2 points on you. Essentially, as it comes over, it blows those up, but it kind of doesn't even knock you down. Ransom.
Is that the best you got?
Yes, me. You say it made its low pass?
It's making its low pass. It's swooping back down. It's in bad shape.
I'm guessing it's not avian enough that I can communicate telepathically.
No, it is a beast, a monster.
Right. Okay. Then I'm guessing I'm hoping I'm high enough to plunge down at it.
Absolutely, because it is doing its slow pass.
All right. So I think I push my arms back behind me and do the full like Superman dive down. As I do, we see my face sort of transform into that bird with this very long beak as I try to pierce right at the back of where its neck meets the body.
Have you rolled a hit?
I hit automatically because I am
And
striking
have you rolled
down.
for damage?
And I roll twice and take the best.
Simply
10,
the best.
11.
Crash into this thing. This thing is still up, but where its coppery scales back there, you just blow a section of that apart, and we can see the coppery green blood of this thing spraying out in a trail behind it, like you cut open the fuel line of a plane.
And I will, at its back, say, "You will not terrify my avian friends any longer."
Tassos, you're on the back of this thing. It is badly wounded.
Yeah, so I haven't. Tassos has been just raging against the idea that where are the days when we fight things that are properly afraid of stuff? People have elaborate minds and dreams and fears, and what do these things fear? It's got bombs hanging off of it, but it occurs to me that it's flying, and I do know one thing that every flying thing fears. That's falling. So as the blood mist sort of expands up and reaches the size of a, I don't know, to pull examples from the book, moderate house or small
Okay.
sailing ship, I'm going to spend my last effort to pick up the cold still shape gift and change into a giant ship-sized block of lead on its back.
Okay. So
Intention of driving it into the ground.
let's have you make that attack roll.
Sure.
To essentially smash into it properly, not go off in another direction.
That's a 1.
That is a 1.
Very obviously a 1.
It is. I'll check in with Threadless before I resolve. I don't know if you're using a gift or not.
I have no more effort left.
No more effort left. Then I think you turn into
I can
this
only do one
block,
person. Yeah.
Tassos, and it just tilts like a little bit. and you kind of bounce off of it and go sailing down to the ground below.
Wait, what? Giant block of lead screams internally.
Woof! You see the jungle portions, things just go flying upwards there. This thing spins around and comes right at you, Ransom. Ransom,
I figured
what is your AC?
it's a 3.
It raises up those claws and goes right at you. And
At a 43.
it's gonna hit.
Damn.
So one, two, three. Four. You take 8 points of damage.
Jeez Louise.
Slams, catches into you and sends both of you pinwheeling back, and you'll crash onto that plaza, probably next to where Evedro is at. And it's screeching as it's kind of pulling its claws up, like it's got you pushed down, like it's going to start just tearing guts, talons into you. Threadless. Mind you, also, I should, before I go on, Ransom, you're also being sprayed with its blood, like it's bleeding from where you hit it.
I'm not anywhere near it. I just kind of see it going down, and I line up an arrow to hit it. You know, I know it's going to seek, so I fire that off.
Just don't roll a 1. Like
Don't.
Tassos did.
Nope, I hit it just fine. So then I roll 1d10 plus 3. So that's a 7.
That is a 7, and that is 2 points. And given that it has a hit point left, claw comes up, Ransom. See Evedro's looking at you, studying this beast. Interesting. And then there's that thwack, and it just comes down, kind of roll out of the way as it crashes to this. Those little glowy bombs on it will kind of flicker and then fade out. And the magical energy kind of goes out of this thing as it dies. Professor Evedro, you look past this. You're at the top of that plaza, and you can see inside that doorway there's a glow and crackle, and you can hear the voice of the storm in there calling to you.
I say to my companions, I think there's no rest for us. I think that we are only at the beginning of this journey. But Ransom, maybe, I guess, if you need a little bit of a moment to catch your breath, we can spare that.
I'd like a moment, please.
Where is oh geez, what's her name?
She's
Red
watching.
Bliss? Yeah.
Lucius watching from a tree. I hope Tassos block did not land on her.
Well, he did roll a 1, but I'm not a terrible GM, so
thank God.
no.
Because I had asked her to take notes on things that transpired, so I'm really keen.
I'm
Sure, she's
very
okay.
glad that was handled.
It's top of mind
That's
for me.
right.
Yes.
My insides are slightly on the outside at the moment.
I mean, we've all got something wrong with us, but if you want to take a moment,
clanging off in the trees as Led Tassos is slowly making his way back.
Like the idea that you were all flattened out like a water splat, you know?
just the front half of Tassos is just flat. The back half is 3D.
It's a very, very 80s Doctor Who special effect, but it works. So
I guess I'm fine. We can regroup, but I'm really eager to see what's in there. So
Yeah, I sort of collapsed down to sit on a stoop there.
suppose I should ask you if you need anything.
I could use do you have knowledge of medicine, Professor?
I imagine we cut to you guys probably taking shelter just inside the doorway of this place, not going too far in, where you can smells of the creature that was living here, but you know it at least is clear, and taking that rest for the overnight here. And I think that you can heal yourselves up because that's Godbound stuff. A night's sleep and you're recovered.
Thank goodness.
I
I was getting tired of seeing Ransom's insides on his outsides.
Yeah, they were only kind of outside.
It looks like this complex goes deeper in this area, but the thing that you will see is that just a ways inside this doorway, in this big hall, there is some kind of like stone pillar or mechanism that has opened up, and it looks to you like it's opened up as you arrived. And you will see that there's various arcane markings and symbols, like this is part of whatever machinery is of this thing. But you will see in the pillar there is a glass sphere that is about the size of like a baseball. It has etchings on the outside of it that kind of loop around, but the sphere itself is perfectly clear, like, and made of glass. And you will see that there is inside of it a roiling storm cloud.
Fredless, Professor, do you think you can procure it safely?
Is it corrupt still?
Oh no, this is like part of the mechanism to lock this place up.
Oh, awesome. All right. So essentially, we can get rid of the corruption that it has allowed out into the world.
Oh, that's excellent.
Mhm.
Let's do that.
Well, the things are already out of here. This is just to continue to power the prison. This, now, mind you, this might be useful in combating the thing out there in the outside world, but it's already escaped its prison.
Oh, okay.
Ooh, okay.
I was going to ask, should we just take the sphere?
Yeah, we know where we have to bring it back. So that's the one thing is, just, can we like lay down something sympathetic so that we would be able to come back here?
Like how?
I don't know.
Does someone have a word of teleportation?
That's a good question.
Think
You know,
so.
No.
Looking at this area now that it's open, and I'm figuring the door is going to keep being open. If we took the orb, Professor, if we take it, it won't produce other terrible, awful things, correct? No more monsters if the globe is not here.
I sense that anything that was bad that was in here is already gone.
Well,
So,
then, at
the
the
globe-
very least, I can keep an eye on this area and bring us back to it reasonably easily. And I'll whistle and suggest to my birdie friends they begin nesting in here.
Seems like a reasonable thing. I have only one question before we finish out this session, and next time we'll take up. Who is carrying the delicate, fragile glass sphere of the hurricane?
I
Swallow
can
that if you want.
Sure, that wouldn't be a problem.
I can put it into stasis.
Oh, that's right.
That sounds safe.
Son of a bitch.
Phew.
Yeah. And it kind of tingles. Like you can feel like if you were to drop this thing, it would crack open, it would release a storm. Like there must be other magics to it, other limitations, other things like that, but that's what you can feel crackling with this thing.
Oh,
And you
that's lovely.
suspect that there must be one of these in each of those temples.
So in the sea temple, the bad thing is still locked in.
Yes, as
Ah,
well as the
Yes,
blood
well,
temple.
The blood temple, yes. Now that we understand how these work. Interesting.
That's where we're going to leave off. Everybody can take 2 Dominion and 3 XP.
Woot.
One for making the traversal to a fantastic place, and 1 for defeating a trio of ferocious, legendary eldritch beasties.
You're still well away from a level.
I guess a level 4. You don't need to be any higher than that.
Nah, not this time around.
Not this time around. If you don't mind, I would like to do a quick stars and wishes here. Notes here. Sherry.
Stars. There was a lot of crazy stuff on display in here. It was interesting to see all the ingenuity that people brought to the party for the fights. Tassos, I know you had a rough time, but you were fascinating to watch. And I really enjoyed Vedro's insistence on maybe talking would have been a good start for all of these things. And his concern, this was a good chance for you to practice that form. But yeah, I do think that you might want to consult with Yashad on it. And Tyler, you were pretty awesome. You had a lot of tricks up your sleeve. So it was pretty nice to see. You have great utilities that are always a surprise. It's such an odd set of things. So cool to see. I quite enjoyed all of that. And your monsters were really horrible, Lowell. Thank you. They were awesome and awful.
Wishes?
Let's see here. Ooh, well, we still got to do the jungle one, right? Like go in there. I mean, I assume that it'd be fairly simple to go through there. I don't know, to get that one or not. I don't know. But then it's about finding the bad forces that are out there that got out, right? So
learning about what they are
yeah, exactly.
and
I mean,
facing the jungle force seems to be
yeah.
okay. That makes sense to me. Patrick?
This was neat. I liked the cool nasty beasties. And like seeing a fight where all of us got down to like one or no effort left, and people were decently hurt in a way that doesn't just like spring back. That was really cool. Tyler, I loved the like calling in all the avian allies to knock away and carry away all those bombs and scatter them. That was really cool. Sherry, I really like the description of like peeling apart and weaving these like steel vines and wires that are just like, as I see it in my mind, they're just like very flexible and easy to work with, but as soon as your hand leaves one, it's just like rigid and there. And Evetro, I enjoy Evetro, especially when he's put upon, which of course, given the poor nature of this world, is most of the time. But the things of like, well, we could talk to them, and then looking around and everyone has just left you with the bombs that have fallen around you. Like there's just no one near you. It's a wonderful moment. Wishes, I want to get in and explore the jungle thing as well, just because of the feeling of the connection with the kids, and I want to like figure out what that line is and more about it.
Yeah.
I would not be opposed to opening the ocean door. Just gonna put that out there. Obviously, we can't all open the blood door, but if we're looking at climactic things to happen next time, I wouldn't say no to opening the ocean door and seeing what sort of things are inside.
Sure. Tyler.
Holy crap, so many stars. This was a heck of a full of everything. You gave us a full-on adventurous journey at the beginning, which was a lot of fun. I loved hearing people's obstacles and seeing people's solving them. I thought that was a lot of fun. I always loved that mechanic. And then you gave us a hell of a fight. So big, huge stars to you, Lowell. Sherry, first off, I loved the Faraday cage idea. It's kind of a shame what I don't know if it got as much awesome out of it as it probably should have.
I took its damage dice down a step.
Excellent. Perfect. It was such a good idea. But then after being super brainy, you were incredibly deadly. You were such a cool combat monster. It was so much fun to watch. Such a cool fighter, such a great character. Patrick chaos monkeying as my dear love, I knew you would. It was magnificent bringing us in there. The fight we had with that. I liked the split fight that we got to have, and then everybody comes together for a fight. That was super cool, just really nicely done. And despite bad rolls, it was so much fun to see how Tassos handled it. I love the creeping up in there and claws and spikes and barbs inside of the cloud, the blood cloud. That was so cool. That was a great visual. And I'm going to hit what probably should be a last session star, but I'm going to give it now. Dan, I've never played with you before, and it is utterly delightful to play with you. I have had so much fun. You are awesome. Such a great player. I love the character, and I love playing with you. You are a wonderful person and a great role player.
Oh, thanks, Tyler. That means a lot to me.
And as for wishes, I do want to. We need to do the jungle. I would agree with Patrick. I sort of would love to see the ocean, but at the same time, I'm looking forward to the debate of both the ocean, because we don't have to open it, and then the blood, which we shouldn't open. I'm interested in that because it's going to say a lot about the group. As the lead, as the ending to the lead into the next time we're together. So I'm really looking forward to what that's going to mean for us as a group.
Interesting. I'll keep a note of that. Dan.
Gosh, I love this game. Let's see. I was also going to say, I really like the kind of leading up to the pyramid. I really enjoyed sort of dealing with all of those different obstacles and how we came up with that. And I'm just looking through my notes here as to what other stuff jumped out at me. And then just watching everyone kind of make the most of their gifts during the combat was really a joy. I like how a lot of us were flailing around, but Sherry just kept kind of, or Threadless just kept kind of knocking arrows and taking down the bad guys, and that was a lot of fun. As far as wishes for me, I'm curious to spend some Dominion in this area and see what I feel like. Evedro would be like, well, this does feel like a pretty good place to start a new school or something like that. And so I'm sort of curious to see how he might want to affect the world in this area.
Interesting. It would be difficult getting students in because,
I mean, utterly irresponsible.
Yeah,
but that's not one of his gifts, so it's totally fair.
Yeah. And I'm sure the students without the gift of the Queen would have no problem here in Monster Valley.
Right. I mean, we could offer in a whole new major. I just feel like it would be really, really good. So
this is your study abroad program.
yes,
I did a year in Monster Valley. It was okay.
Yes.
It's my fine arts.
Brothers is there going, don't do it, don't do it. I've been there.
I forgot how to speak monster. After all the years, but,
thank you all so much. I very much enjoyed a good big fight with monsters stolen from Monster Hunter, to bring them in to because there's such great bits they have with them. So and great because you guys are kick ass and it's fun throwing big stuff. So I am going to stop the recording.